Shivani, you mentioned about how money and income was always related to male counterpart of the family. So, just wanted to take a step back and see overall how India has evolved. Like initially, coming from a business class family myself, I've always seen my father managing the finances at home. But currently, at my family, it's equals. It's like me and my husband doing it together. So overall, if you have to reflect back, how do you see that this participation of women in family related affairs, where money is also related, how is it evolving, and in general also how women are playing more bigger role? If you can tell about that.
Yeah, so I'll share a very personal experience. Like I come from a business class family, so earlier it used to be like my father going to the factory and running the whole factory and taking care of it. But these days, since my mother is also well educated and she can take care of things, so she is also given that certain space wherein she can participate and contribute to the functioning of the whole factory, and she has a say in that. So I think that has had an impact on me as well, because I am also given that space that okay, you can make your choices, and the industry is not something that can restrict a female or to represent themselves and come forward, because we have always been given an opportunity, and in my family as well I've been asked to dream big, not to restrict myself thinking that these things are something that a female should not be doing. So yeah, I feel that I can see that progress within my family and how things have changed. So on the whole, I think that a lot has changed already, and we are.
And what do you think in India? What have been the drivers of this change? Because we see India as a more evolving nation right now, with a lot of developments in tech and how businesses are evolving, how there are so many startups. But what are the growth drivers? If I want to ask you, what is leading to this change in India, wherein women is more entrepreneurial, they want to be more independent, more out in the market, trying to do something different rather than just being a homemaker and taking care of the family, which is also a great thing. But now women is also thinking about different ways of using their skill set.
Well, I think it starts from the representation itself. Earlier, if you see, and if I talk about the earlier times, there was no representation of female itself, because there was no recognition of women involving into a corporate environment and just being confined to a household, just doing the common household activities. So what I feel is that we have had many female leaders in the past and even now who have never failed to raise their voice for us, for women like us, for women like my mother as well, who even though confined towards the household activities still feel that there is no lack of her representation. So in case if she would want to raise her voice, she can about something. So if I talk about a personal example here again, like I also come from a business class family where most of the work was done by my father, his father, and even my brothers, and everything is like so much confined to me. I remember there was time when we used to have a meeting at the in one room of the house, and all the female members were asked to leave the room because they wanted to talk about it. But now I've been seeing that my father talking to me about certain things, how we can be more creative with what we are doing right now. I see that whenever he's making a decision for the business, he do take my advice there. So what do you think? Is it a good time to invest there? Do you think that the industry is going in that direction, that I should start something new? So I think that is something, the society's mindset is getting towards a more progression, that they also recognize us, because we as women have never failed to raise our voice and make ourselves more visible in the environment. And that's why I feel that right now we even at 1lattice don't feel the pressure to make ourselves visible, because we are considered at every point in time.
And if we see consulting as well, I feel like initially it was more of like a man's job because it involves traveling, and it was just a thought that okay, a woman traveling is not like something that would be that supported because she has a family to take care of. Secondly, she can't be away from the home for such a long time. But I think now if you see, husbands are supportive enough to let their wives travel, and they're okay with staying at home for a while and taking care of the house as well. So I think earlier it was more need based, like it started off as women feeling that we need to liberate ourselves, but now after experiencing that change, after experiencing that what a woman can also add to an organization is required and it's very valuable. I think now more than need based, it's more like people are demanding for women employees because of the intellect, because of the ideas that they can bring. It's not more like okay, we need to represent a woman because she's a woman, but because she can add to the organization with her skills. It's not like a compulsion anymore. And seeing everyone around us do that, I think it's moving to that level that people can make their own decisions. Like my mother is a homemaker, but it's because she wants to be one. It's not because she's forced to be one.
No, that's a great point, because it should be a choice today, rather than someone deciding the fate for you. That you have to do this, but it should be a choice. And Badu, as you mentioned that earlier, it was just a representation. But now more and more employers are understanding how women participation adds to more creativity, idea generation. We're not saying that we are better, more creative, but definitely the perspective is different of male and female, and getting that perspective from both the genders is important.
Right, it's like one side is a man, one side is a woman. If you take both their opinions, it makes the environment more wholesome and holistic. Like you're bringing in both the ideas and both the views.
And it impacts it impacts the business also. For example, taking an example, in America, a diaper business was led mostly by men, and the business was failing miserably. Then they had to change the entire ecosystem. They, brought more women to the table. They changed the colors and everything, and now the business is one of the leading businesses in America, and it is almost
like an example. If a mother is deciding a diaper, let her decide what the strategy should be for the product.
Exactly. So it's also about knowing the consumers. Like you cannot know what women want, or you cannot know what a man cannot give you the perspectives of women. It always has to be from the women. So it comes in, just like Ibatan mentioned, it's a requirement. It's not like it's just for representation, but no, women are really needed in this ecosystem to make more business sense in general.
Because a lot of time women is the decision maker in making a purchase. So that perspective, what are they looking for, what are the key purchase criteria while they buy the product, that's become very important to understand that and accordingly develop the strategy.
And I think there are some things that only women can bring to the table, because there is a certain level of creativity that they have as compared to men. So obviously they have a different mindset as compared to men in terms of the creativity, the decisions that they want to make. They have a different criteria of making decisions. So they basically would contribute in much different way as compared to men.
I think, and I think, just combining all our viewpoints, and I feel that it's more like the industry is treating both men and women more as a spectrum, like they belong to the same group, rather than treating them as two different set of ideologies or contradicting towards each other.
It's like diversity and inclusion.
Yes.